There are no such thing that are great that was easy to do. I'd rather improve you than give up on you, torture you into greatness. Oftentimes, they're so close. Don't give up. Other people's disasters, other people's tragedies. Nothing makes us happier than that.
NVIDIA 执行长黄仁勋跟支付巨头 Stripe 的执行长，他们的对话呢，是我最近看到觉得最有启发性的一次演说。以下是帮你制作的精华整理。
Fun fact that you may not know about Jensen Huang is that he's been CEO of NVIDIA for 31 years this month, making him the longest-serving CEO in the technology industry.
Hey, everybody. But the part that I loved was how you realized in the very beginning that financial payments was about code, not finance. I thought that was incredible. And you explained that the first time we met.
So the Jensen and I were catching up 18 months ago or so, and I guess it was a couple of years since we'd last spoken. So he was kind of asking for the update on Stripe, and I was explaining. And you said, "Oh, so it's like software-defined networking, but for money." And that was still ricocheting around in my mind. So that's where we got to this idea for software-defined financial services. So I hope we don't have to pay a licensing fee for that.
I got zero equity for that good idea.
All right. You guys are doing okay. I was thinking about this. Tesla's earnings were, of course, yesterday, and Elon announced that I think Tesla is going to have 85,000 H100s by the end of this year. And I was just reflecting on, it's quite a success to sort of build a business where CEOs kind of compete with each other to announce, who has spent more buying your product. So I think you've done something quite impressive. But anyway, I actually want to start out talking a little bit about...
All of my CEO friends, they all have the most.
So I want to start out talking a little bit about a remark you made at a Stanford event recently. And you said, "I wish upon you ample doses of pain and suffering." Elaborate.
Well, let's see. There's a phrase that said you should choose your career based on your passion. And usually people connect passion with happiness. And I think there's something missing in that. Nothing there is wrong, but there's something missing. And the reason for that is because if you want to do great things, and I know this to be true about you creating Stripe. And by the way, this is one of the world's finest CEOs, young as he may be. Yep. You guys know I've met a lot of CEOs. I've heard about a lot of companies, and this is genuinely one of the world's great visionary companies. And so, anyways, I just want to say that. It's the reason why I'm here. I love what.
No more compliments allowed. It makes us terribly uncomfortable.
I know. I could tell. I could see him. He's starting to sweat. And so the thing is, when you want to build something great, it's not easy to do. And when you're doing something that's not easy to do, you're not always enjoying it. I don't love every day of my job. I don't think every day brings me joy. Nor does joy have to be the definition of a good day. And every day I'm not happy. Every year I'm not happy about the company. But I love the company every single second. And so I think that what people misunderstand is somehow the best jobs are the one that brings you happiness all the time. I don't think that that's right. You have to suffer. You have to struggle. You have to endeavor. You have to do those hard things and work through it in order to really appreciate what you've done. And there are no such thing that are great that was easy to do. And so by definition, I would say, therefore, I wish upon you greatness, which by my way of saying it, I wish upon you plenty of pain and suffering. And so...
Anything in your upbringing that taught you that idea, or is it just somehow innate to your makeup?
I didn't realize I had to lay down for this. I'm about to tell you things I've never told anyone, not even my family. I was an immigrant, and when I came in 1973, I was 9. My older brother was almost 11, and this was a foreign country, and there was nothing easy about that. And we also grew up in a really terrific parents, but we weren't wealthy, and so they worked hard. They work hard today, and so they passed along a lot of life lessons about working hard. Now, I had all kinds of jobs. We went to a school that included a lot of chores.
It's in Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky, Oneida Baptist Institute, and I don't think it's the same as MIT. That I is not the same. It's the same word, but it's different. It's a different type of institute. But my institute required you to go to school, and it was a dormitory, and so there were a lot of chores. I was the youngest kid in school, and so all of the other kids got the hard work. They had to work in the tobacco farm. And I got the easy job. I was 9 years old, and so after they left, I had to clean all the bathrooms. I never felt that I got the easy job, because what they left behind was, you can't unsee that kind of stuff. But that was my job, and that was my job. And so I did it delightfully, and then I had plenty of other jobs, and Denny's was one of them, and I started out as a dishwasher and became a busboy and became a waiter, and I loved every one of them. I loved every one of them. Somehow I've always found, you know, I want to say joy, but that's not quite right. I just everything that I was doing, I wanted to do the best I could, and maybe that was kind of ingrained from the very beginning, but I was definitely the best bathroom cleaner the world's ever seen, I'm sure of it, yeah.
So if we fast forward just a little bit to the NVIDIA of today, how large is your leadership team?
How large is?
Your leadership team.
NVIDIA's leadership team is 60 people. Yeah.
And they all report to you?
They all report to me.
60 direct reports?
60 direct reports, yeah.
Which is not conventionally considered a best practice. I agree that the best practice kind of...
I'm certain that's the best practice. It's not conventional, but I am certain it's the best practice. And by the end of this, I'm going to convince all of you to have 60 people on your direct reports.
The floor is yours.
The reason, first of all, the reason is because the layer of hierarchy in your company really matters. Information really matters. I believe that your contribution to the work should not be based on the privileged access to information. I don't do one-on-ones, and my staff is quite large, and almost everything that I say to everybody all at the same time. And the reason for that is because I don't really believe there's any information that I operate on that somehow only one or two people should hear about. And these are the challenges of the company, or this is the problem I'm trying to solve, or this is the direction we're trying to go into. These are the new endeavors. This isn't working. That's working well. And so all of this type of information, everybody should be able to hear. I love that everybody's working off of the same song sheet. I love that there's no privileged access to information. I love that we're able to all contribute to solving a problem. And when you have 60 people in a room, and oftentimes, well, my staff meetings are once every other week. It's all based on issues, whatever issues we have. Everybody's there working on it at the same time. Everybody heard the reasoning of the problem. Everybody heard the reasoning of the solution. Everybody heard everything. And so that empowers people. I believe that when you give everybody equal access to information, it empowers people. And so that's number one, empowering. Number two, if a CEO's direct staff is 60 people, the number of layers you've removed in a company is probably something like 7, depending on how it is.
Is it 60 at every layer, or only 60? As in, like, if I'm a director, if I'm one of the fortunate 60, do I also have 60 direct reports?
No.
Or, okay. So
I don't think that that's scalable downward, and the reason for that is because you need more and more supervision depending on certain levels. And at the E-staff level, if you're so unfortunate to be serving on NVIDIA's E-staff, it's very unlikely you need a lot of managerial,
And so I rarely find myself having to stand up for conventional wisdom, but if I was to kind of steal man the other side, I'd say, well, one-on-ones are where you provide coaching, where you maybe talk through goals together, personal goals, career advancement, what have you, where maybe you give feedback on something that you see somebody systematically not doing so well, and so forth. So there's all these things that kind of one is, again, conventionally supposed to do in the one-on-one. Do you not do those things, or do you do them in a different way?
Really good question. I do it right there. I give you feedback right there in front of everybody. And in fact, this is really a big deal. First of all, feedback is learning. Feedback is learning. For what reason are you the only person who should learn this? Now, you created the conditions because of some mistake that you made or silliness that you brought upon yourself. We should all learn from that opportunity. So you created the conditions, but we should all learn from it. Does that make sense? And so for me to explain to you why that doesn't make sense or how I differ from it, not half the time I'm not right, but for me to reason through it in front of everybody helps everybody learn how to reason through it. And so the issue, the problem I have with one-on-ones and taking feedback aside is you deprive a whole bunch of people that same learning. Learning from mistakes, other people's mistakes, is the best way to learn. Why learn from your own mistakes? Why learn from your own embarrassment? You got to learn from other people's embarrassment. That's why we have case studies, and isn't that right? We're trying to read from other people's disasters, other people's tragedies. Nothing makes us happier than that.
Have you succeeded in getting other leaders at NVIDIA to adopt this practice, or is that difficult?
I give people the opportunity to decide for themselves, but I really discourage one-on-ones. I really discourage one-on-ones. Nothing is worse than the idea that somebody says, "Oh, Jensen wants us to do this." Why does that have to be said to anybody? Everybody should know. Or somebody said that E-staff said that. Nothing drives me nuttier than that.
You once told me that you really didn't like firing people and very seldom did it. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I'd rather improve you than give up on you. When you fire somebody, well, You know, a lot of people say, well, it wasn't your fault, or I made the wrong choice. I used to clean bathrooms, and now I'm the CEO of a company. I think you can learn it. I'm pretty certain you can learn this. And there are a lot of things in life that I believe you can learn, and you just have to be given the opportunity to learn it. I had the benefit of watching a lot of smart people do a lot of things. I'm surrounded by 60 people. They're doing smart things all the time, and they probably don't realize it, but I'm learning constantly from every single one of them. And so I don't like giving up on people because I think they could improve. And so it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but people know that I'd rather torture them into greatness.
That was the phrase that I was hoping to uncover. Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
Yeah, so I'd rather torture you into greatness because I believe in you. And I think coaches that really believe in their team torture them into greatness. And oftentimes they're so close. Don't give up. They're so close. You know, greatness it comes all of a sudden one day. It's like, I got it. Do you know what I'm saying? That feeling that you didn't get it yesterday, and all of a sudden one day something clicking. Oh, I got it. Could you imagine you gave up that moment right before you got it? You know, so I don't want you to give up on that. So I'll just keep torturing you.